Today we're going to take a look at graphing using slope-intercept form. So slope-intercept form is usually the form that people are most familiar with. It is our y equals mx plus b form. So when we are doing these, we always want to make sure that we have our equations solved for y. So if we don't, we know how to move our variables so that way we get y by itself. Then we're going to go ahead and when we graph, we're going to start with the y-intercept. Your y-intercept is your b. When we plot that, we always start on the y-axis. So our first dot is going to end up to be on this axis. From that point that we just plotted on our y-axis, then we're going to be able to count our slope. Remember that slope is rise over run. So when we go ahead and do that, we are going to make sure that we are going both up and over. You can go in either direction, and I'll show you that when we do a couple of examples. So my first example here that we're going to have is going to be y is equal to negative x plus 5. So remember, we're assuming that there's a -1 out in front of this, if that helps. Taking a look at this, our b here is +5. So I'm going to go to +5 on the y-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. From there, I'm going to put a point. Then I can go ahead and I can count my slope. -1 as a fraction is -1/1. It's telling me I can go down, which is negative, and to the right, which is positive. If I went up, which is positive, I can go to the left, which is negative. Remember, negative sloping lines go down from left to right, and this one does, so we are good to go. You don't have to go in both directions, but know that you can go in both directions. The next example that we have is going to be y equals -3x minus 1. Again, we're still starting on the y-axis, so I'm going to go to -1 on the y-axis. This time I have -3/1, so I can go down 3, 1, 2, 3, and to the right 1. Or I can go up, which is positive, 1, 2, 3, and to the left, which is negative. Again, we have a negative sloping line, so it should be going down from left to right, and ours is. Our next one that we're going to graph is going to be y equals 2/5 x plus 2. So when I go ahead and I graph this, I'm going to start at 2 again on the y-axis. We're always starting on the y-axis. From there, I'm going to go up 2, I'm rising 2, and I'm running 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or I could go down 2, which is negative, and to the left 5, which is also negative, because a negative makes a positive. And so because I have a positive slope, again, I'm going up from left to right. My next one, I'm skipping down to number 7, which is y equals -4x. Be careful with this one. A lot of times people get thrown off, but again, we're looking at this, I don't have a b here. I have nothing added, so if it helps you, think about it as it's like +0. So our first dot is going to be right at the origin at 0. From there, my slope is -4, so I get -4/1. So I can go down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, to the right 1. Or I could go up, which is positive, 1, 2, 3, 4, and to the left 1. So it looks like that. We have a couple more. So the next one, we have y equals -3 plus 5x. You'll notice that my x isn't written first here. So if it's helpful to you, then just go ahead and rewrite that. So we're going to have 5x minus 3. So that way I can see that I start at -3, 1, 2, 3. And then my slope again is 5/run. So from that, I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and over 1. I could go down 5 and back 1. It's going to fall off my graph, so I'm just not going to go both ways. And so that is my answer. And then my last one, I'm going to have y equals 1 minus 6 fifths x. Again, if it's helpful to you to rewrite this, remember that the negative is with the 6/5. The 1 is positive. So I can see that I'm going to start at positive 1. I'm going to go down 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or we could go up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to connect my dots. So it looks like this.